Alright, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be trying to predict the first round of the NBA playoffs. They start tomorrow. I cannot wait. This is the best time of the year. I'm going to try to predict and analyze all first round series here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, getting closer and closer as the days go on. So all support around the channel, be very much appreciated. Link to my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So playoff time is here, and I cannot wait for it. We're going to try to predict and talk about all first round series here today. We'll get the easy ones out of the way. We're just going to start with the 1-8 matchups in both conferences. We don't know who they're going to play exactly, because tonight we still have the last two playing games to determine the 8 seed in each conference. But I think we can confidently all predict that the top seeds are going to win. In the Eastern Conference, the Cavaliers, the 1 seed, they're going to play either the Hawks or Miami. And I feel like whoever they play, it's going to be a 4-game series. Yeah, I just don't think the Hawks, if they do play the Hawks, they're very injured. No Jalen Johnson, no Clint Capella. A lot of guys that probably would be important in the series are not playing. And I don't think they have the defense really to match up with the Cavs' offensive firepower of Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland and the bigs. Like, I don't really know how they're going to be able to contain Evan Mobley and all those guys. So, yeah, I just think Cleveland, even though the Hawks did beat Cleveland twice this year, but that was back in, like, November, December. That's when they were healthy and all that stuff. So, yeah, I'm going Cavs probably in 4. Maybe Trae Young can get them a game. Maybe Trae Young can have a big 38, 40-point night and hit a clutch shot and they can win a game. But I don't think there's really any sweat for the Cavs. And also, if they play Miami Heat, even though they do have Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, guys that can have big games, I just don't think they have the offensive firepower to keep up with the Cavaliers. You know, again, maybe they can win one because it's the Heat and it's Eric Spoelstra, and maybe Tyler Hero could have another big 35-point game if Bam has a big 28 to 30-point game, and they can find a way to win that way, and their defense really locks in. But I'm guessing the Cavaliers win in 4, maybe at 5 at the most, in any of these against any of the teams they play, because I just feel like it's just going to be these teams don't have enough for the Cavaliers. On the Western Conference, to make it quick too, the Thunder, they're going to play either the Grizzlies or the Mavericks. And I think the Thunder comfortably handle any of these teams in the series. Even though Memphis is a good team, they still won 48 games. You still have the threat of Ja, Bane, and Jaren, and those three, and they still are a good team. I just don't know if they have enough for the Thunder. They've been a little bit more discombobulated as of recently. John Morant's not fully 100% right now either. They don't have Jalen Wells for their defense. And so I just don't know. I think the Grizzlies definitely can win a game in the series, maybe potentially 2. If Ja, Bane, Jaren all have big games and they find a way, and maybe they lock in back into that defensive mindset that they had in the first half of the season. But ultimately, I got OKC winning in that series against Dallas. I don't think Dallas stands a chance. I mean, Anthony Davis is really good, and maybe Anthony Davis can impose his will and have a big game. And Clay has a game where he hits 6 or 7 threes and they can steal one. But ultimately, I'm going OKC in either series because I just don't think these teams, again, have enough firepower for OKC. So we'll get the one matchups out of the way. I got Cleveland, OKC both winning their series pretty comfortably. Going to the 2-7s now. In the Eastern Conference, we have the Celtics and the Magic. This is another series I think it should be wrapped up pretty quickly. Orlando, they've been really struggling. They don't have enough offense. We all know that, even though they did have a good playing game. Cole Anthony had a big game coming off the bench and all that stuff. And they have good defense. And Orlando has the capability and the threat of Paolo and Franz Wagner both combining for 78 points or something like that. And Paolo can have a big night, and maybe they can take one from Boston just because there's there's just, Boston can have a game where they shoot bad from 3 and Paolo has 40. And the Magic can find a way to win. But ultimately, the Magic just don't have enough firepower, especially from the 3-point line. This is probably the craziest difference in 3-point shooting we've seen. I mean, Boston being a team that only jacks up threes, one of the best 3-point shooting teams we've ever seen, and the Magic being the worst 3-point shooting team. I just don't know how the Magic can keep up with the Celtics in this series. Even if the Celtics don't have a crazy shooting night from 3, a decent shooting night from 3 for Boston is better than anything that Orlando can put out from 3. So I think Boston's winning this series probably in 4. I think a sweep can be here. Again, maybe Paolo can have a big game, and Paolo and Franz combine for 80 points or 75 points, and they could steal one potentially. And Celtics have a bad shooting night, but I think Boston comfortably wins this series as well. Now we're getting into the real good matchups. 2-7 in the West, Houston, Golden State. This should be a very, very fun series. The regular season, they had some good games. They got really chippy, and I expect it to be a chippy, you know, kind of rivalry building playoff series with Draymond Green, Dylan Brooks. You have a lot of personalities on both sides, a lot of fire, in both of these teams. And I think this could be a good one. I mean, the Rockets are a 2 seed, and they're a team that a lot of people are saying they're kind of the team that some people in the West want because they're young, they're inexperienced, and maybe they don't have the best, half court offense and all that stuff. But I made a video near the end of the regular season where the Rockets are on a run. I'm not underestimating the Houston Rockets. I'm not doing it. They might not have a superstar. They might not have the best player or maybe even 2 players in this series. And they might be the most inexperienced team in this playoffs in the Western Conference. But they've won 52 games for a reason. They are a very good team still. You have an amazing coach in Ime Udoka who made it to the NBA Finals with the Boston Celtics a couple years ago and has shown that he's great at game plans and especially defensive schemes. And he's a really, really good coach, especially in the playoffs. His 1 year in the playoffs, he went all the way to the finals. You have, even though maybe they don't have a 1A, they still have a lot of really good players on this team. Jalen Green is a streaky player, but he can have a hot streak in a playoff series. Jalen Green come out in the series and average 28 points per game. Alperen Sengun is an all-star level player, can have 20, 25-point games with a couple of assists. Fred VanVleet has been in these situations before. Fred VanVleet can hit clutch shots and have big nights. Dylan Brooks was hot as ever in that second half of the season. He can have big games. You have Jabari Smith, the defense of Amen Thompson and Tari Eason, Jabari Smith, Dylan Brooks, the offensive rebounding, which some of the Rockets can really use to their advantage, and at the lineups with Sengun and Steven Adams on the court together, those lineups just collect offensive rebounds like nothing, and with the Warriors' lack of size, that really can do a lot of things for Houston. They can really take advantage in the paint and on the offensive rebounds, getting second chance opportunities, because that's what the Rockets do. They're not an amazing shooting or half-court offense, but if you can get multiple possessions and keep shooting, eventually they're going to fall. So the Rockets absolutely have a great chance in this series. And then you have the Warriors. They've been playing really good. Obviously, they're probably going to have the best player in this series. Well, they have the best player in this series in Steph. Maybe there's 2 best players in this series in Jimmy Butler. And we already saw a glimpse of what playoff Jimmy could be like in the play-in game against the Memphis Grizzlies. Jimmy Butler can definitely take advantage, getting to the free throw line, having big games, and doing all that stuff. I think for the Warriors, it's really going to come down to, obviously, the others. We know what Steph Curry can do. We know what Jimmy Butler can do. But the Rockets are going to try to do everything in their power to limit them. You saw in their last regular season matchup, all the Rockets did was literally send 3 people at Steph and say, you know what? Anybody but Steph. I don't care if Gary Payton II gets 5 wide open layups. I don't care. As long as Steph Curry is not shooting the 3, as long as Steph Curry doesn't have the ball and is taking easy shots, we feel comfortable with our chances. Now also in that game, Jimmy Butler wasn't really aggressive in terms of scoring. Jimmy Butler is going to have to be aggressive Jimmy Butler. And we already got a glimpse of that in the Memphis Grizzlies game, and I think that's what he's going to have to do, because obviously teams are going to send everything to Steph Curry. And that's what Jimmy Butler's here for. Jimmy Butler's supposed to alleviate that pressure and have big games, and I expect Jimmy Butler to have a couple big games in this series, especially if the Rockets are guarding Steph like they did in that regular season game, where they're trying everything in their power to limit Steph Curry from shooting the ball. So Jimmy's going to have to be in the series, and the others, obviously, Brandon Podziemski. He had a really good second half of the season. He's going to have to continue it. The size is going to be a mismatch with the Rockets having size, but the Warriors could kind of counteract that by trying to go faster. They're going to need a game rebounding as well in this series and trying to maybe get those guys in foul trouble, getting to the free throw line, which is what Jimmy Butler does. Ultimately, in this series, I'm still honestly kind of back and forth on a pick. Honestly, this is the one series I have where I don't really know fully what my prediction is going to be, because I can see a world where both things happen. I can see a world where the Rockets stun the league and the Rockets have, they show everybody, hey, we're not just this young Rocket team. We could still win this series and they can win. But at the end of the day, I think the more likely thing maybe is the Warriors winning this series and Steph having a big showing and Jimmy Butler and all that stuff. I'm still kind of torn a little bit, but I'm going to go, give me Warriors in 7. I think this is going to be a long series. I don't think it's going to be a 4 or 5 game series at all. I think it's going to be at least 6, because, again, even though the Warriors probably are the favorite, the Rockets aren't as experienced. The Rockets are going to win games. The Rockets are going to make this a really competitive series, and the Rockets have a really good chance. But if we go to a game 7, I think that's where the Warriors' superpowers could come out, because they have a guy named Steph Curry, who we know can light it up. I mean, you saw it in the playing game where the last 2, 3 minutes, it was all Steph Curry. He hit 2 or 3 big 3 pointers and they won the game. And Steph Curry can do that in a game 7. You also have Jimmy Butler. And if we get to that type of scenario where it's a game 6, game 7 elimination game, I trust the Warriors more than I do the Rockets. So that's why I'm going to go Warriors in 7. But I am so excited for this series. I cannot wait to see how the Rockets fare in this series. And yeah, this is going to be a very, very fun one. Going out of the 3-6 matchups in the East, we have the Knicks and the Pistons. A very interesting series right here. Pistons, their first time here. I mean, they're another very inexperienced team, probably the most inexperienced team in the entire playoffs, because the only guy that really has played big playoff games are like Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway Jr. Besides that, no one else. I mean, I don't think Malik Beasley's even been in a lot of playoff scenarios either. So those are the only two that really play. Like Tim Hardaway Jr. was on a team that made a finals run last year and a conference finals run a couple years ago. Tobias Harris with the Sixers. They've been constantly in the playoffs for so long. Those are the only two that really have playoff experience on this team. And Jimmy Bickerstaff has been in the playoffs a couple of times for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So it's gonna be interesting for the Pistons. I mean, but this team is still, they are gritty, they're grimy, and they have a superstar in Cade Cunningham who can pop off and have some big, big, big games. And so for the Pistons, it's really going to have to be the others, because everybody in the world knows that Cade Cunningham is gonna have the ball 90% of the time, and everyone knows that Cade Cunningham is going to be the guy that's gonna have to create for himself and for others and for the entirety of the team. And we all know that the Knicks are going to try to do everything they can to combat that and throw 2 or 3 at Cade when he gets going. So it's really going to be up to the others. Malik Beasley is going to have to keep knocking down threes like he did in the regular season. Asar Thompson is going to have to keep getting to the basket. Honestly, the vets, Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway Jr. are going to be big in this series. Tobias Harris is going to have some big games, I feel like. He's going to have some 20, 25-point nights. Because, again, when they're, kind of doubling and really focusing on Cade, they're going to need some other people to really go create. And that's what Tobias Harris is here for. Tobias Harris is here to be a kind of a blanket for them and to get into that mid post or threes or get to the free throw line and get some shots. And Tim Hardaway Jr. as well. Tim Hardaway Jr. We know what his mindset is. He's going to shoot the ball. Tim Hardaway's going to have a really good series shooting as well. So those two I think are going to be huge for Detroit. And number 2 for Detroit, I think they're going to have to really use their aggressiveness. This Knicks team is not as the same as the last couple of years in terms of they don't have that same kind of dog and fight in them. Obviously, they're a really good team and they still have really good players. I'm not saying, they're, I'm not saying anything crazy about them, but it's like we see it. This isn't the same gritty, tough, kind of Knicks team that we're used to seeing. And the Pistons have been that type of team. So maybe if the Pistons can kind of rough up the Knicks and get under the Knicks' skin a little bit and get on Anthony Towns' skin or whatever, the Pistons have a good shot potentially at winning the series. For the Knicks, though, I mean, they're going to have the best player in the series in Jalen Brunson, probably. And Jalen Brunson's going to have some clutch performances, which we can't have. Anthony Towns is going to be big in this series as well, because kind of similar to what the Knicks are going to do to the Pistons are going to try to do the Knicks, and they're going to try to take the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hands as much as possible, because they know Jalen Brunson is the captain, and Jalen Brunson is the guy that's going to have a lot of the assignment. And that's why Anthony Towns is here. Because Anthony Towns is going to have to alleviate a lot of pressure, and Cat's going to have some big games in the series, try to hit some threes, get to the line, try to get maybe Duren and Stewart in foul trouble and all that stuff. And he's really going to have to, make his presence felt in this series. And also the defense, obviously, is going to be big with the Knicks. They haven't been the best defensive team, but they're really going to have to try to lock in on Cade Cunningham. That's what OG and Mikal and Josh Hart are here to do. Obviously, also, those two are going to have to really knock down shots. The depth is also going to be very interesting on both sides. The Knicks are not a good team in terms of depth and coming off the bench. If one of their guys gets in foul trouble, it's going to be a lot tougher. While the Pistons, they have Malik Beasley. Ron Holland, how is he going to fare in this series? Being an energy guy off the bench. Isaiah Stewart, how is he going to fare in this series coming off the bench? So I think this is a very interesting matchup. It's going to be definitely probably the chippiest matchup and the grittiest matchup in this first round series. Probably not going to be a lot of, crazy scoring nights, but it's going to be a very tough, rough, and a very, exciting series. Ultimately, I got the Knicks winning in 6. I think Detroit, there's a world where Detroit wins this series, and Detroit really uses their aggressiveness to their advantage. And Cade Cunningham has some big series, and Malik Beasley has a monster of a series, and Detroit wins. But ultimately, I'm more comfortable picking the Knicks in this series. I just think you have Brunson, who can close out a game. We've seen many times this year how he comes out and has some big shots in the fourth quarter and wins this game. And I just like the Knicks defenders. I mean, you have Mikal, OG. That's what they're here for. They're getting paid a lot of money for situations like this where they're gonna have to focus on Cade Cunningham, and not saying they're gonna limit Cade Cunningham and they're gonna make Cade Cunningham average 10 points per game. That's not gonna happen. But I just trust the Knicks perimeter defenders and what they can do over the Pistons, even though the Pistons have a solid defense as well. But I'm very excited for this series. I'm going Knicks in 6. The other 3-6 is probably going to be the most viewed and most looked at playoff series. Lakers, Timberwolves. LeBron, Luka, Anthony Edwards. This is going to be a powerhouse of a series. I'm obviously very, very excited for this one. In this one, looking at with the Lakers, they're a team that isn't really big. They run small ball, but it could be used to their advantage because Rudy Gobert, we've seen in the last couple of years that small ball teams have taken advantage of him. So can the Lakers do that again? Obviously, you have LeBron James and Luka Doncic in a playoff series. And if you want anybody in a playoff series, those are probably maybe top 2 names you want leading your team in a series, and you have them on the same team. So that really just has a big advantage for the Lakers. They play that if they can really, I think if the Lakers can really, do what they've done the defensive end, where we were questioning when they first got Luka, how's the defense going to look, getting ready to AD, and it was very interesting. They played really a team defense where it's just everybody all over the place, chaos, forcing turnovers, doing all that stuff. And the Timberwolves are a team that could get fallen into a trap of that because they're a team that's had moments where it looks chaotic and it looks kind of like sloppy. So if the Lakers can really use that to their advantage and use that defense, use that defense, they could be good. For the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards, we know what he can do. We know Anthony Edwards, he's shown that he can take off in the playoff series, obviously. This is going to be big for Julius Randle. Julius Randle is going to have to really step up and be good in this series. He doesn't need to average 30, but he needs to be good in this series. And he has looked good since coming back from injury in the last 2 months for Minnesota when they, have gone on this streak. Julius Randle has looked pretty good, and he's finally kind of looked comfortable finding himself in this Timberwolves system. He's going to have to really, really, really have good games, play make as well, because they're going to try to take the ball out of Ant's hands, and a 4-on-3 with Julius Randle, he's going to have to make the right decisions. And going to have to really, take advantage because he's probably getting guarded by LeBron, maybe. So maybe if he can try to tire LeBron out of the defensive end, I don't know. Also, Jaden McDaniels is going to be big in this series as well. Jaden McDaniels played really good in the last couple months of the season. And he's going to have to keep that aggressiveness going because he's probably going to get the 3rd, 4th best defender on him in this series, which might be, I don't know who's going to guard. Maybe Austin Reeves? No, Austin Reeves probably going to guard like Mike Conley. Maybe Luka guards Jaden McDaniels. So McDaniels is really going to have to take advantage of that. And really going to have to get aggressive, get to the free throw line, hit some shots, and do all that stuff. I like Minnesota's role players better than the Lakers players, though. I mean, DiVincenzo is really kind of starting to find his stroke. When you kill Alexander Walker, Naz Reid, like those role players are going to have to play a big dividends and going to have to really outplay the Lakers role players of Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent and Jackson Hayes and all of them. You do have Austin Reeves in this series, though. And Austin Reeves obviously is going to be a big X factor because with LeBron and Luka getting by the McDaniels and maybe Anthony Edwards or whatever assignments, Austin Reeves is going to have to be big. And Austin Reeves is going to have to continue to keep doing what he's done in the regular season and really going to have to try to take advantage of teams not really putting as much attention on him as they are going to be on Luka and LeBron, obviously. This series is going to be very fun, very electric. We're going to have some big performances on both sides in this series. Ultimately, I think I got to go with the Lakers, man. I mean, LeBron and Luka really just does a lot. LeBron and Luka on the court together in a playoff series does a lot. So for the Lakers, I'm going to go with the Lakers. I'm going to go in, I'm going to go 6. I was thinking 5, but I think the Timberwolves are too good that they can probably get 2. They definitely can get 2. And Minnesota can definitely win this series. I mean, there's a world where Anthony Edwards goes off, Julius Randle has a big series, and the role players step up to bat, and they have a really good defensive scheme against the Lakers, and Timberwolves win this series. This is definitely not a Laker. This is not like a Laker heavy favorite series. Absolutely not at all. I'm not saying it like that, but I just think, again, having LeBron and Luka and what Austin Reeves has done this regular season, that 3-headed monster is going to be very, very tough to stop. And so that's why I'm going to go with the Lakers. I'll take them in 6. I think it's going to be a very fun series, though. And the final 2 matchups, the 4-5 in the Eastern Conference, Indiana, Milwaukee. Probably the series I'm most intrigued to watch in the Eastern Conference. I mean, a rematch of last year. We know the history between the Bucks and Pacers. And we just got the news yesterday that Damian Lillard might be back in this series. He's cleared from his blood clots, which is awesome and amazing. He's not going to play game 1. I expect probably maybe a game 4, game 5 if the Bucks can extend this series far. I think that's when Dame comes back, and that changes a lot of different things, obviously. Um, Indiana, they have been very good since the tough start. They've been one of the best teams in the NBA in 2025. You have Pascal Siakam in the mid range, who we've seen even last year can dominate, which is what they got him here for. This is where Pascal really shines in these playoff moments where it's going to get half court offense and all that. Pascal's going to have to really do his thing. Tyrese Halliburton has been better. He's definitely going to need to hit his shots. And you just have a good all around team. I mean, shooters everywhere. Miles Turner, Andrew Nembhard, Toppy, McConnell, D. Smith. Ben Mathurin now is here, and he could be a punch off the bench. You can have a games where he has 22, 25 points off the bench. So you have all that. On the Milwaukee side, you don't have as much firepower. They have not been as great. They're not maybe as deep as Indiana, but they have a man wearing the number 34, named Giannis Antetokounmpo. And he's looked like one of the best basketball players, if not maybe the best player in the world in the past 2 weeks. And you have a Giannis that has been going crazy since Dame has gone out and is hungry. We haven't seen Giannis play fully in a playoff series in about a couple years, and we know he's hungry for this. And he is a one-man wrecking crew. And I don't think any Pacers have any really answer for what Giannis can do to them in this series. And that's really the only reason why I'm not fully 100% confident in picking the Indiana Pacers is because you have Giannis Antetokounmpo on the other side. And while the Bucks don't have as much firepower as the Pacers, they haven't been as amazing as the Pacers looked, all that stuff. Giannis is a different animal, and he could really have an insane series in this one. I think all the Bucks need in this series is one guy to step up and be good. Whether that's Kyle Kuzma or Brook Lopez or maybe who knows, Gary Trent or Taurean Prince just have an insane series. They're gonna need just one guy. That's what Kuzma's here for. If Kuzma can have I don't need Kuzma to average 28 points per game. I need Kuzma to be good. Give me around 20. Give me around 20 points per game on some good efficiency. And I think that's all Milwaukee needs with Giannis, until Dame comes back, obviously. If Dame does come back in this series. Um, this one is another very, very tough series to predict because I am still kind of like on the fence because Indiana has a better team overall. Indiana has a better team overall. They got more continuity over there. They have the depth. They have the offensive firepower. But the Bucks have Giannis, man. And Giannis is going to be the best player in this series by far. And I really it's a question of how much do I trust the Milwaukee Bucks others to help Giannis? It's how much do I trust Kyle Kuzma to be good in this series? How much do I trust Brook Lopez to do in this series? How much do I trust the shooters in this series? It's not a lot of confidence I have in them, but they just need to be okay. Like they don't need to step out of their bodies. Gary Trent doesn't need to average 25 points per game in this series. He just needs to hit a couple threes. Taurean Prince doesn't need to average 20. He just needs to be good in this series and be like not get played off the floor. Those guys, not be guys that are unplayable. Really, Kyle Kuzma doesn't need to average 27. He needs to just be like a good second option, average about 20-ish points per game on some decent efficiency and hit some shots. Like in my head, that's not a lot to ask for, but we've also seen from the Bucks this year that it hasn't been super reliable, you know. And if we get to a game 6 or game 5 and Damian Lillard does come back, then that changed a lot of things as well. Obviously, we don't know how good Dame is going to be as soon as he comes back, but it's Damian Lillard, and even the name of Damian Lillard just brings so much to this team, and he can be a decoy at some points, which is what he kind of was last year near the end of the playoffs when he had the Achilles injury. So I'm still going back. I don't want to disrespect the Pacers because again, the Pacers are a better overall team probably, and they have been the better team. But Giannis, man, I don't know. Just in my head, that Bobby Porter's back. Bobby Porter's gonna have to have some big games in this series as well. AJ Green can have a game or two where he gets 5 threes. Oh man. Uh, I, give me Milwaukee. I'm sorry. Give me Milwaukee. Giannis. Yeah, Giannis is just a different monster, man. Maybe I'm too kind of locked in on what Giannis is doing right now, and maybe I'm overestimating how decent the Bucks role players are and can be, or maybe I'm underestimating how good the Pacers are. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a combination of all three. I have no idea. But there's something about Giannis in this playoff series that just has me thinking that he's going to put the team on his back. He's going to be an absolute monster. He's going to cause the Pacers havoc, and he can win this series by himself. And when Dame comes back, it's going to be better. So give me Milwaukee in 7. If we go to a 6 or 7 game series, we go to elimination game. I'm trusting Giannis. I'm sorry, I'm trusting Giannis. The Pacers can absolutely win the series. The Pacers can win the series in 5 games, for all we know. Indiana can just come out and do their thing, and even though Giannis does everything he can, the Bucks others just can't do anything else. That could happen. There's a world where that happens, and I'm not gonna be too shocked. But there's something in me that really, really, really doesn't want to go against Giannis in this playoff series. So I'm gonna go Bucks in 7. In our final series, 4-5 in the West, Denver Clippers. This is going to be. I think this is the series I'm most looking forward to. I mean, this might not be the most popular series, Lakers, Wolves, and whatever, but this is probably going to be the best like matchup in terms of like basketball, like IQ type of chess matchup. This probably might be the best series at that because this is gonna be a heck of a series. I mean, on one side you have the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic, with I feel like all the adversity going against him and his team. Nikola Jokic could do some special things. On the other side, you have a Clipper team that has been one of the best in the last couple weeks with a healthy Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Norman Powell's back, Zubac's playing the best basketball of his career, and Ty Lue is a coach I trust a lot. So, and with one of the best defenses in the NBA. This is going to be a heck of a matchup. For Denver, obviously the question all year has been what's going to happen with the others. When you get to moments like this, and when everybody in the world knows that Jokic can do anything he wants, can have 60-point triple doubles and all that stuff, can the others just step up enough to help the Nuggets win? Because Jokic can lead your team to a victory. But when it comes to a playoff series, how much can the others step up? Jamal Murray, who missed the last couple games of the year, probably not 100% right now. How much can Jamal Murray do? Can Jamal Murray tap back into that playoff Jamal that we all know him for? Michael Porter Jr., can he hit shots? Can Aaron Gordon continue to do what he's done in the regular season? How can the bench do anything in this series? Can Christian Brown keep up what he's been doing in the regular season to the playoffs and hit some shots? Can Russell Westbrook be effective in this series? That's been the question all year. Now without Michael Malone, and now with David Adelman, right? David Adelman in this position, how much can he, help this Nuggets team win this series? So it's gonna be tough for Denver. I mean, the Clippers have so much. You have a guy in Kawhi Leonard who we've seen when he's healthy can be absolutely dominant and a top 5 player in the NBA when he's healthy in the playoffs. And right now he's on one. James Harden has been amazing. James Harden, what I like about this is James Harden does not have to do all the scoring. James Harden doesn't have to average 30 in the series like he has past. You have Kawhi Leonard and you have a Norman Powell who can both have big nights. And all James Harden really needs to do is hit some shots and run the offense, which is what he's been doing. Zubac has been amazing in this series. He's had his hands full with Nikola Jokic, but Zubac can be a monster in this series as well. I like they have the defense. You have Chris Dunn. You have Derrick Jones Jr. Amir Coffey come off the bench and do some solid things. You have Bogdan Bogdanovic, who hasn't had the best season, but he's a guy that can have a game where he has 20, 23 points and it's 5 or 6 threes. They don't have Terrence Mann anymore. I was about to say Terrence Mann. They don't have him anymore. They traded him for Bogdan Bogdanovic. But this Clipper team is really good. And you have Ty Lue, who we've seen in the past make adjustments and bring this team farther than what we think they can be. So this is going to be a very interesting series, very tough. It's hard for me to go against the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic, but the Clippers have such an amazing team. They have basically everything you kind of would want. They have shot making, they have good guards, they have good bigs, they have good wings, they have defense, they have 3-point shooting, guys that can go get a bucket on their own, good coach. The Clippers have everything, man. They're really a sleeping giant out here in the Western Conference. I gotta go Clippers. I'm going Clippers in 6. I gotta go with the Clippers, man. They just are again. I just picked the Bucks over the Pacers simply because of Giannis Antetokounmpo. And that logic can very well apply with the Nuggets, where Nikola Jokic can just be the most dominant player we've ever seen. Jokic can average 37, 14, and 12 in this series and they win. And then the Clippers just have no answer. That very much well can happen. And they can get some moments where Jamal Murray can hit a couple of clutch shots and Michael Porter Jr. can hit a couple clutch three-pointers and whatever. But the Clippers are a different monster. Like, the Clippers are really good. They have everything you want. They've just been on fire. I love what they have over there with Kawhi playing as well as Kawhi has, and James Harden doing his thing. And you have Norman Powell, you have Zoo, you have Chris Dunn, you have Derrick Jones Jr., you have great defense, you have Tyler, you have so much, man. The Clippers are just so good. I gotta go with the Clippers in this series, man. I gotta go Clippers in 6. But yeah, it's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down in the comment section below what your predictions for some of these series are. I would love to know, because this is going to be an amazing playoffs. I can feel it. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, doing also like that. I'd really appreciate it a whole lot. Once again, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so support around the channel. Be very much appreciated. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.